All right, welcome back for another series. This is series 11. We're still in Bereshith, which is Genesis. This is going to be important here. We're going to start in chapter 23. It's about finding a wife from a Christian perspective. As we go and read, we're going to see some of the things that some males go through in finding a wife. Obviously, you have to leave your father and mother. That's key. And obviously, you're probably going to have some involvement with your parents in finding a wife that's good for you, having conversations and things like that, and wanting to be in the right spot. You got to leave your father and mother, so you have to find the right places. So we're going to see an example of that. And then also, as we go further along in the series, when we get to the qualities of a wife, we're going to see some of these things displayed here. And we're going to go from there. So, chapter 23. And Sarah lived 127 years, the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. All right, that's interesting there. She died. All right, remember, they're bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. They're still one. So this is a key component in what's going to happen next. So from that point, we're just going to skip further along. And we go to verse 19. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of, and we have Machpelah, before Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. All right, so that's key. All right, so she just got buried. The husband buried his wife. All right, we're going to get more into things of that when we go further along. So now we're just going to take us to chapter 24. So that I make you swear by, we have the name of God right there, the Elohim of the heavens and the Elohim of the earth, that you do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. That's key there. All right. That's the land that his wife was buried. That's where they're living at. And we see here, he's talking to one of his servants, not to take a wife from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. So you want to find out who the Canaanites are, what kind of lifestyle they were living in, the type of things that they were doing, their belief system and things like that. And that'll show you the qualities not to look for in finding a wife if you are a Christian, because there are a lot of people that the Canaanites qualities that they have. It's a lot of people that still does those things today. So as we go on, verse 4, but go to my land and to my relatives and take a wife for my son, Yishak. Remember that name. And the servant said to him, what if the woman refuses to follow me to this land? Do I then take your son back to the land from which you came? And Abraham said to him, beware lest you take my son back there. We have the name of God right there, Elohim of the heavens, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my relatives, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, to your seed I give this land. He sends his messenger before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman refuses to follow you, then you shall be released from this oath. Only do not take my son back there. So that's key. Although he don't want his son to have a woman from the land which they dwell, he doesn't want his son to go back and dwell in the land from which he came, where he want him to find a wife from. So that's key. We see the father has influence over who his son should marry, who his promised son that the seed is going to come through, Yishak. All right. We see Elohim of the heavens, who took me from my father's house. God is involved in this as well. So God is in heaven, but he hears everything. He knows everything that's going on everywhere. Again, so no matter where you are, there's no reason to be worried or have fear, especially if you're looking to get married or want to be married or have children. Just trusting God, trusting his time. And remember, Abraham had him in old age. All right, so that's key. So you have to be patient. And you see that they're using a certain circumstance or scenario in finding a wife. If this happens, or if she follows you and things like that, that's how you know it's true. They praying to God. They giving direction from God, and he giving his servants commandments um, or instructions on how to choose the correct wife. So if you're a female, you're looking to be married, you have to live your life accordingly. Especially if you're looking to be married to someone who believes in the same God, you have to live your life pleasing that God, and that's how you're going to get connected to the right husband. If he's looking for you. So as we go on, verse 11, and he made his camels kneel down outside the city by a fountain of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. All right, so that's key here. All right, if a man know he's looking for a wife, all right, they know where the women are. All right, so women have certain places that they go to where, they feel comfortable, they dress nice, they look good, and they may be out there to look to attract someone. So they know where they go out to, and those single men will be heading that way. All right, so verse 12. And he said, we have the name of God right there, Elohim of my master, Abraham, please cause her to meet before me this day and show love and commitment to my master, Abraham. So the servant is talking to God, and he asks Elohim to cause her, the woman that they're looking for, to meet before me this day and show love and commitment to my master, Abraham. So let's continue on. Let's see what he wants to happen in order to know if it's the right one. Verse 13. See, I am standing here by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your jar to let me drink, and she says, drink, and let me water your camels too. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Yishak, and let me know by this that you have shown love and commitment to my master. And it came to be, before he had ended speaking, that see, Ribkah, all right, check out that name there. You want to look that name up, all right, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her jar on her shoulder. And the young woman was very good looking, a maiden, no man having known her. And she went down to the fountain, filled her jar, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, please let me drink a little water from your jar. And she said, drink, my master. And she hurried and let her jar down to her hand and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, let me draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking. All right, we go here. And she hurried and emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the fountain to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And watching her, the man remained silent in order to know whether, we have the name of God right there, had prospered his way or not. And it came to be, when the camels had finished drinking, that the man took a golden nose ring weighing half a shekel, and 2 bracelets for her wrists weighing 10 shekels of gold, and said, whose daughter are you? Please inform me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. And she said to him, we have both straw and fodder enough and room to spend the night. All right, so you see how all this played out? The key thing is here, we see Abraham is acting just like Hagar. That's another key point. Now, Hagar is the servant, female servant. Remember, he had a son with Ishmael, and he sent her out into the wilderness. And you remember, if you followed on in the series, she went back to the land where she was from to find her son a wife. Remember, he was going to be a wild man. She went back to the land of Mizraim, found a wife from there to give to her son. Now, Abraham is doing the same thing. He's sending his servant, instead of himself, back to the land from where he's from to get a daughter for his son and bring back to him. All right, same thing. Hagar and Abraham are acting the same way. All right, remember he's married also. He's one with his wife. So regardless, Sarah is still one with him. Now she's passed away now. And now um his son is looking to have a wife. Now, is there a reason why Abraham doesn't want to be just him and his son now? Yishak? You know, it's just them now. Are they cool with that? How our relationship with father and sons. Now, when we get to that, it's going to be Bible verses going towards that. Father, son, mother, daughter. We're going to get to those things. Is Abraham still involved with Hagar? We don't know. All right. So we see that everything is going according to how they ask God about the woman. If this happens, let it be known. And it happened. Everything's going according to plan. It's looking like it's the right move. All right. So everything's going good. Let's see what happens. Verse 28. Then the young woman ran and informed those of her mother's house these matters. And Ribkah had a brother whose name was Laban. And Laban ran out to the man to the fountain. And it came to be, when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Ribkah, saying, Thus the man spoke to me, that he went to the man and saw him standing by the camels at the fountain. All right. So we see what happened there. She went back home, informed her mother what's going on, and guess who ran out? Her brother. Her brother came out, the first person. All right, so she never known a man at this point, so we're assuming here that she's a virgin. All right, and she's doing good. Look, she came out right away. She's giving him something to drink right away. You know, there's Bible verses that talk about, you know, if you give someone to drink, you have done it for me. The New Testament. And you know, she's giving animals something to drink, and letting them know they got food at the house and all that. You good? So she's has a place to take care of them for the night. All right. So verse 36: And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old, and he has given to him all that he has. So this is key here. Sarah, my master's wife, all right, Abraham's wife, bore a son to my master. So talk about Yishak when she was old. All right, 127 years old. That's when she passed away. All right. And he has given to him all that he has. So everything that Sarah and Abraham had, Yishak now has, right? So now if you look at the woman that they're talking about here, Ribkah, she's taking care of the household. You know, she's going out getting water. She know they got food there, so she probably making sure everything's straight at the house with her mom and dad. You know, just making sure everything is good. You know, at the place she's staying at. You know, her brother came out right away, so you know that he's probably protecting her. You know, and things like that, checking on her, make sure she's good. When she see that she got all these things on her, you know, they giving her bracelets and nose rings and things like that. You know, something going on. So seems like he was cool with the whole thing. You know, went out, talked to him, but you have to read more to find out what's going on with that matter. But when we get to the men series, we'll talk about that more. But we're going to finish here, verse 37 and 38. And my master made me swear, saying, Do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I dwell, but go to my father's house and to my relatives and take a wife for my son. So, again, we see here marriage was different for those back then. So